morning everyone, it's Carol here at Aakash Journals. As I'm always saying, a big warm welcome. Thank you for joining me on my channel. I really do appreciate it, and it's lovely having you here whilst I'm creating my bits and bobs. So as you can see, I've got my journal in front of me here, partially opened out for the Junk Journal July 2023 challenge. Now, if the challenge is new to you, it's being hosted by Meg over at Meg Journals, and the link is in the description box below the video. So this was my page 2 here for prompt number 2, which was pop of colour. And if I move my journal over, this is the area that I'm going to be working on for prompt number 3, which is negative space. Before I can make a start on that, if I just open out my journal a little bit more, if you saw the video where I showed you the bare journal that I'd created, I mentioned that I had used a lot of ledger paper in it, particularly this one, which is a vintage German ledger paper. Now, it's not standing up very well at all. Whilst I've used this a lot in collages, it isn't very good in terms of using it as a page. It's very fragile, and I'm finding that this is cracking already. So before I even start doing anything today to work on prompt number 3, I'm going to have to reinforce that, but you'll see me do that in a minute or two. So that will be my first job, and let me bring in this. Now, this is the Tim Holtz Alterations Sizzix Thinlet die. It's 661190 is the product code, and can I see a name on it? What's it called? Wildflowers 1. But I'll put that information in the description box below the video. I've used this to create my negative space, and I've used that particular die there. So let me show you. This was a piece of handmade paper that I had in my stash. It wasn't the right colour, so I put another piece over the top. Now, this paper here was really thin. It wouldn't have stood up to going through the die cutting machine, so I just glued it onto this slightly thicker handmade paper and then ran it through. So I'm just going to lift out my little die cut, and I will use that in my journal somewhere else. It looks gorgeous, so I definitely will be using that. So there's my negative space, and I'm going to have that on my page here. So I'm just going to rip round the edges here to create a nicer piece, and then start doing a collage. Okay, so I'll be back at the end to give you a closer look at what I managed to pull together and create today. So as I mentioned, I'm just going in with a little bit of glue and some masking tape to reinforce that hinge, and you'll see that I'm flipping my journal over, there we go, and just doing the same on the other side. And now that that's all reinforced, I'm all set to go. So here I'm just ripping the edges of my handmade paper so that I've got a nice torn edge. Quite difficult to tear actually. It was very stiff with all the fibres in it. Just reinforcing that fold before I go in, and having measured the size of my little negative piece, it was too big, so I'm tearing it down some more, as you can see, fighting with it all the way. That's a better size. Just flattening it down. Now I'm auditioning a couple of pieces to see which I want to put behind it, and what won through was this decorated paper bag. Decorated in terms of it's got splashes of paint. I've used it on previous pages, so I'm carrying through the continuity by using similar pieces throughout my little journal. And now I'm ripping away the excess. I do decide that I like the look of the bag peeping through, and added some extra layers of it, just roughening up the edge. This is a piece of embossed vellum which I thought might be nice at the bottom. my negative space piece doesn't go all the way down to the bottom, and I actually like that bag behind it, so I'm creating a piece to add some layering at the side. And as you can see, I'm tucking a piece underneath there at the bottom to extend it a little bit. I'm going to be collaging over the top of that, so it won't be that noticeable where the join is. And adding a little bit of glue to hold that bottom portion in place, and then gluing the main piece over the top. This is a piece of book page, just one of the plain margin pieces from a vintage book, and I'm using that to overlay the embossed vellum that I've chosen to use at the bottom, gluing it in place. And here I've dug out some of the Tim Holtz labels, and I'm looking for one that appeals to me, that seems to work well. A couple of green ones there, and then I decided to go for this light fawn one because it's got some nice script on it. Got some green handmade paper there, which I've doubled up, and I'm just punching a circle. Now I actually punch a smaller circle, and this is what I'm doing here because that first one was too big. And then I find that the one I've punched is too small, so I'm going in with yet another punch to punch another circle slightly bigger. And as you can see, I'm just auditioning a wax seal on the top and offsetting that wax seal, deciding I like it where I'd positioned it, so going in and gluing down my Tim Holtz label. Yep, liking that there. And here I've got some Avril art twine in green, and I'm just putting several strands of that underneath my wax seal and little cardboard circle, and I'm gluing that in place. And this is one of my little date stamps that I've got behind it, slightly to the left there, trimming away the edges of the art twine, or the ends of the art twine rather, sorry, and going in now with some tiny little Asian washi stickers, positioning 3 at the top right hand corner and just pressing them in place with my bone folder. That one wasn't quite sitting nicely, so I went in again and redid that top one. So this is my finished page now, and as always I'll put some photos at the end so you can have a closer look. So here's my negative space, a few Asian stickers up there, down here and down here, a little date sticker, one of the Tim Holtz stickers there, a wax seal with some Avril twine or Avril thread behind it, and I've used the original circle that I punched out of that paper down on this page here just to transition over to this page, and I've used one of the Asian stickers down here. So that's my finished page for prompt number 3. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Really enjoyed doing this one, and I loved playing with this negative space using one of those paint splattered bags behind and actually layering it up here at this edge. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this one come together, and that you'll pop in tomorrow for prompt number 4, which is tags and labels, I believe, and see how I get on creating my next page in this Junk Journal July journal. Until then, everybody, take care, happy crafting, bye bye now.